it's Genevieve here again for another episode of Simply Sweets. And of course we got Pumpkin, wandering around again, making little clicky noises on the floor. So anyways, today what I got for you today is Eclair cake, which I got the idea from my boyfriend's mom, and it's actually really good, so I'm gonna make it for you today and hopefully teach you how to make it for yourself. So what you'll need is you'll need 2 boxes of pudding mix, like the instant kind. You'll need some milk, a box of graham crackers. You could use either 1 container of Cool Whip, or you could go ahead and make real whipped cream, or homemade whipped cream I should say, which I'm going to be teaching you today how to do, which is with heavy cream and powdered sugar. And then also you'll need a stick of butter, some cocoa powder, sugar, and vanilla extract. And then for your materials you'll need a little saucepan, a 9x13 pan, a whisk, some measuring cups, 2 spatulas, a mixing bowl, and then you're also going to need to make homemade whipped cream. You'll need a KitchenAid, or if you don't have a KitchenAid, you could use simply a hand mixer. So let's begin. So first off, I'm going to start with the pudding. So we're going to take the pudding, remove some of this stuff, and we're just going to take them out of the boxes and put them in our bowl. Oh, actually you want to put your milk in first, because something I learned that's much easier is if you put your liquids in first before your powders or solids or sugars or anything like that, it makes easing really easy because then it doesn't all stick to the bottom. So you will need 3 cups of milk. So we'll just put the 3 cups in here first. And I got Pumpkin being real naughty, chewing on my shoes right now, which is awesome. She's distracting me. But yeah, and then we're just gonna put our pudding mix in here. Then we're going to take our whisk and we're just going to mix this until it's completely mixed together. Okay, so once this is completely mixed through and there are no clumps left, we're just going to take this and put it in the fridge to let it set for a little bit. So I'm getting out of the fridge. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and put together our homemade whipped cream. So you're going to need 1 cup of heavy cream. And then you're going to need 1 cup of powdered sugar, so equal parts heavy cream and powdered sugar. And now, I typically add vanilla extract too, just to create flavor. But for this, because the pudding already has like a vanilla flavor in it, it's not necessary. But if you're going to make, homemade whipped cream at home, then you should add maybe a teaspoon or a couple teaspoons of vanilla extract just to give it that flavor. So I'm going to put this in here. And then I just kind of like to move it around a little bit before I put it on the mixer. And now we're going to move over to the mixer to mix it. And then you're just going to start this on low for now. I'm just going to put it up a couple more speeds just so that it gets a little mixed, but you don't want, you want it all to just like blend together, but you don't want it to splash up, so that's why you have it on a low speed for now. And then after it's come together pretty nicely and it starts to get fluffy, then we're gonna whip it. So this will take like a few minutes. Okay, so now that it's in its last stages of beating, I'm just going to grab out our pudding, which is pretty thick now, as you can see. So it's ready, and I'm just going to set it here on the table, and then we're ready to start mixing them together. Okay, so now that it's come to about stiff peaks, which when I say stiff peaks, I mean if you can take this and you pull it up and see the little mountains that it creates, or even like looking at the tip of this, if it doesn't fold over, that's a stiff peak and it stays pointed. The thing about homemade whipped cream is you don't want to beat this, because it'll eventually curdle and become butter, and it'll separate and you'll have butter and buttermilk at the bottom, so you don't want that. So this is good right here. So yeah, now we're gonna move over back to the regular table and we're gonna mix in our pudding into this. Okay, so now that is well mixed, I'm gonna move this over here. We're gonna take our pan and our graham crackers. And first, we're gonna line the bottom of the tray or your pan with graham crackers, like so. Like that. Okay, and then the second layer, you're gonna put about half of your pudding mixture on top. And then you're just gonna spread it out so it's even. And then your third layer is gonna be another layer of graham crackers. Nope, that one. And then your fourth layer is going to be the rest of the pudding. And you just want to do the same thing where you just pour it over as evenly. Well, you want to pour it over the top of it and then you want to spread it evenly. So there's that. And the thing I really like about this recipe is that So like you let this sit overnight, and just like with, you know, banana pudding, if you've never had this kind of like cake before, but like with banana pudding, how the crackers sit in the pudding and they get all soft and like, I don't know. I just think it tastes really good and I like the texture of it. So this is kind of like that, only it has sugar in it, or it has chocolate in it instead of, I mean it has plenty of sugar, but it has chocolate instead of bananas in it, so, you know, makes it a little bit more fatty. God, the cracker just doesn't want to do its thing. So then your last layer is going to be graham crackers, again. So it's graham crackers, your pudding mixture, graham crackers again, pudding mixture, and then finally graham crackers. So just finish this up real quick, and then we'll move on to making our frosting, which is chocolate frosting to the top. So there you go, this is what it should look like. When you're all done with your layers. Okay, so now for my favorite part, which is the chocolate frosting. We're gonna move over to the stove, and we're gonna bring with us our milk, our sugar, our vanilla extract, cocoa powder, and butter. So I will see you over at the stove. Okay, so now to make the frosting, I put the stove on to about medium heat, and we're gonna add to our saucepan 1/4 cup of milk, 1 cup of sugar, and then 1/3 cup of cocoa powder. Which I don't know about you, if you've ever worked with, if you've done much baking out there, but cocoa powder is the devil. I just like, it's the worst thing to deal with. It gets everywhere and it just never wants to do what it should be doing. But anyways, we're just gonna mix this together as the heat rises, and you just want to continue mixing this until the clumps basically get out, which I mean they will eventually, the more and more the mixture gets hotter. But you're just going to keep mixing this, because I learned the first time I made this that if you don't keep mixing it like the recipe says, the bottom will actually burn. So it's like the sugar actually just like clumps at the bottom. So you don't want that. So you just want to kind of keep your eye on it. You don't have to like mix it the whole time, but you at least want to keep an eye on it and make sure that it's not sticking to the bottom. And then I'm just going to increase the heat to about a high, just to bring it up to a boil. So this is actually getting a little bit hotter than what I wanted for right now, because I still want the clumps to melt into the rest of the mixture. So I'm just going to move the heat in between a medium-high heat, just so that it's not scorching it. You really just got to worry about that sugar. But it's getting pretty close to a boil, and then once it boils, you're gonna let it boil for like about a minute, maybe a minute and a half, but not for very long. And then you're gonna remove it from the heat, and then we're gonna add our butter and our vanilla extract. Okay, so like right now, it is at a good, nice boil. You don't want like boiling like rolling water, but you want like a nice boil where it just kind of is like, you know, like it's like thick bubbles, like in a scary movie when there's like a monster coming out of like the swamps or something. I don't know, that's what I think it looks like. Okay, so now it's pretty much boiled for a minute or so. We're just going to remove it from the heat so that it doesn't boil anymore or get any thicker. And then we're just going to add our stick of butter, which it should be softened because it just makes it easier for mixing. And then we're going to put that in here and just kind of move it around. It'll eventually melt down though in here. So you just want to make sure that you keep scraping the bottom so that nothing sticks. And then when it's about halfway melted, then you can add your 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And you'll notice that it's going to continue bubbling for a little bit after you've removed it from the heat. And that's okay, as long as you've removed it from the heat, it won't continue to, I mean it's going to continue to cook, but it won't continue to like cook at such a rate that it'll stick to the bottom like it did for me. And then this is almost done. So now we're ready to put our topping on. It's cooled a little bit, so hopefully it won't melt everything. And then you're just gonna pour it as evenly as possible across your cake. Now it's a cake because it has layers. And then you just want to spread it carefully because it will kind of just like pull at the crackers a little bit. You don't really want that. Okay. And if your frosting isn't just like spreading as easily, one thing that you can do to cheat is you can just kind of like move it carefully without like, you know, dumping this on the table. But if you just carefully move it around, it'll eventually like shift around and even itself out. And then just kind of like give it like a little tap. It'll even it out completely. And then you're just gonna put this in the refrigerator. It says like maybe like for 10 hours, but basically just put it in and let it sit for overnight so that the crackers get nice and soft and mushy. And yeah, that's about it, and that's it. So yeah, I'm gonna put it in the fridge now. So the next day, when you go to pull it out, it should look something like this. And it should be relatively pretty easy to cut. And then the frosting might be a little sticky. I know it shifts a little bit. That's because it's pudding. So, and then one trick, if you don't want to do this frosting and you need like a quick just put it together kind of deal, you can also use like those cans or those jars, whatever you want to call them. But the little containers of like the pre-made frosting, like milk chocolate or dark chocolate, whichever one you want to use. I would suggest maybe like heating it up in the microwave for a couple seconds just so it's a little bit softer and you can like spread it easier. In that case though, you're going to want to put your mixture of the pudding and the cookies in the fridge first overnight so that it has a chance to harden up and it won't move around on you. And then you can put that on top as a finishing top, or as a finishing piece. But yeah, this is what it should look like. It's kind of like, you know, a little custard cake, and it's really, really good. And yeah, it's probably one of my favorite things to eat now because it tastes almost just like an Eclair. You'd be amazed. So yeah, there's our little treat for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Yeah, so that ends September. And we're moving into October, which is my favorite month because fall is coming and it's apple season, and yeah, Halloween is coming, which is awesome. So yeah, if you like my stuff, please subscribe to my channel and like my video. So yeah, have a great day, guys.